Joining us now from our bureau in Washington, D.C., Republican candidate for Virginia's 10th Congressional District, Aliscia Andrews. Aliscia, thank you very much for joining us this evening. So first, just tell us, why are you running in 2020?
Well, first, thank you for having me. I'm running in 2020 because my Marine Corps service, it was an honor to serve our country, and it's going to be an honor to serve again. I think far too many people that are serving on Capitol Hill, to include our congresswomen, have forgotten what an honor it is to serve our country. And I think that we need to take that seriously. We have far too many people that have been forgotten about, and that's why I'm running, to represent those people. And you can go to andrewsforvirginia.com to find out more about what it means to be on Team Andrews.
Yeah, and we've kind of gone through your bio a little bit. You have a very impressive resume, not only from a professional perspective, but also a personal perspective too. And I came across this too, really reading about why you decided to join the military. It was really a touching story that I came across. So can you tell us a little bit why you decided to become a Marine, and also why that experience will be so valuable in an upcoming campaign?
I think you really have to understand what sacrifice really is. For me, what caused me to join the United States Marine Corps is I lost a very close friend of mine when I was in high school. He served in the United States Army, and his parents are now Gold Star families. I think that understanding the gravity of sending men and women to war is something that you don't just read about. I mean, it's real. And I think that's something that I understand and I hold in my heart, and I think that's something that is germane to be able to represent in Congress.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important thing to take away too, because so often in politics nowadays, it's almost viewed a little bit too much like a sport. Whatever side gets a win or a point going in their direction one way or the other, but at the end of the day, it's really important to remember that people's lives are oftentimes at stakes, not only in military services, but even when it comes to the economy. I mean, a bad economy results in people quite literally dying in some instances. But I think that's really important to bring up too. But you are one of 3 Republicans now at this point vying for the nomination to face off against Congresswoman Wexton. Why do you think that you're the important one that should come out on top in that race?
I think that when just like you mentioned, it is often thought about as a competition about winning and losing and which side's going to win. I think ultimately we need to focus on supporting the American people. And the American people, every couple of years, go to the ballot box in November and vote these people into office. And they make all of these grandiose promises about what they're going to deliver for the American people. I'm not writing checks that I can't cash. I'm going to deliver for the American people and for the people of Virginia 10 what I can cash. Yeah. I believe in Virginia 10. I live here. I work here. My kids go to school here. It's my home. It's where I believe is the best place to raise a family. We are far from done, and our values are not being represented by Congressman Wexton. She's forgotten what it means to be from Northern Virginia. She represents the values of California, and she votes with Nancy Pelosi over 95% of the time. And that's why I'm the best choice for the Republican side.
So explain it to me a little bit too, because as you said, Congresswoman Wexton doesn't properly reflect the views of your district, that being the Virginia 10th Congressional District. What are some of the issues that are important to you that you hope to bring to Congress that better reflect the values of the Virginia's 10th Congressional District?
I think you're seeing right now as we're speaking pretty loudly about the Second Amendment. It's getting pretty loud. 90 of the 95 counties in Virginia are speaking loudly about the value of the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment needs to be completely supported. Also, another thing that's important is immigration. Our immigration system's broken, and it needs to be fixed. It's something that they can't just campaign on. It's something we actually have to take care of at Capitol Hill. All too often, we're seeing politicians go down to the border, scream at a couple of vans, go back and do nothing about it except fundraise. We need people that are going to be willing to do something about the challenges and the issues that are happening everywhere. And if you go to andrewsforvirginia.com, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to actually keep my promises. Like President Trump says, promises made, promises kept. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do in Northern Virginia. Keep my promise. Yeah, and in fact, we have your website up right now in case any of our viewers want to go learn more about you and your campaign. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. But I also want to know, too, this comes at a time, too, where there is a little bit of a divide. Some people say that we need people who are willing to reach across the aisle and kind of collaborate a little bit more. Absolutely. But then you also hear people, too, saying we need a fighter in Washington, someone who's going to stand up for conservative values, of course, since you're a Republican. But you hear it on the other side, too. Democrats saying that we don't want someone who will cooperate. We want someone who's going to be a fighter for our issues. What type of lawmaker do you hope to be if you were to be in the lower chamber? Well, I don't think they're mutually exclusive, which it seems to be what most people seem to think. One thing that I think I've learned from the Marine Corps is I can work with anybody. I can work anywhere in the world. The most miserable conditions I've learned to be just fine at working in, and working with literally anyone from anywhere, any walk of life. I think our values aren't mutually exclusive to the Republican Party, and what's really interesting about me is I welcome the people from Walkaway, from Blexit, from Jexit, and what I'm now coining as Wexit, people that are walking away from Jennifer Wexton. You know, we deserve to be represented. There's so many people that are politically homeless in Northern Virginia that want to be represented. We matter. The people of Northern Virginia matter, and it's time that we step up and represent that.
Absolutely. And, you know, once again, you have such an impressive resume to go ahead. I can't thank you enough for your service on top of that, but also your willingness to fight to kind of serve in our House of Representatives as well. Sometimes that's a part of service that goes underlooked as well. But I mean, I have to give credit to anybody who's willing to serve our country, no matter what aspect that's in. But as I said, you can visit our website at andrewsforvirginia.com. Aliscia Andrews, thank you very much for joining us tonight.